How you guys doing today? I'm Webtoon King, and today I'll be going over why I think All Might chose wrong. Alright, this video is going to be kind of weird because this is coming straight from the heart, and everything I'll be speaking on is random. So my first point I want to bring up is time. So the whole point, All Might never decided to give up his power early on, even though Sir Night-Eye told him to, was because he didn't want to wait. He didn't want to wait for the next number one, or he didn't want to give his power up to somebody who wasn't ready. So he decided kept fighting even though his life was on the line. And that point to me was stupid because he decided to pick Deku, someone who wasn't trained, someone who didn't have a quirk. But you decided to pick him, so that contradicts that point, because that was his whole point of not retiring earlier, which is stupid to me. And the next point is recommendation. So everybody he knew told him to go over Miro. The principal, everybody he knew. Everybody's like, he's just like you. Like, think about it. Like Miro, like he doesn't have to force a smile. Like you see Deku, every time he fights, you can tell he's forcing it. It's like he's trying to be something he's not. The only thing that relates him with All Might is the fact that he's willing to do crazy shit to save people. Which, when you think about it, it's not smart, because even All Might admitted at some point around the overhaul arc, he was like, the reason I don't want to go see Sernai is because he was right. And I ended up how he said. So that's another reason that didn't make sense, because he picked Deku, and that would be the only reason, is because he tried to save Bakugo. But he didn't have a quirk. He didn't have a real strategy of how this would work out. He just did it. And I get the people who are going to be like, oh, it was a spur. It doesn't change the fact. That's like, if I know some baby is a bunch of drug lords, and I'm like, I'm going to save the baby, and then completely forget that all of them had like machine guns and machetes and all that stuff. Like, yeah, it's noble to go save it, but I don't have a gun. I don't have anything. I don't have an army. Why would I put myself at risk? That's being stupid. That's not smart. And people got to stop doing that thing, because we follow main characters. We automatically want to like them. But the way I like to put myself in the situation. Like All Might picking Deku, I would never done it. That made no sense, and I'll tell you throughout the video why. But I like to put myself in the situation of any character. I'd be like, that's how I decide if I like a character. And All Might, I don't like him. I mean, he's funny and everything, but I don't like him as a character because he basically didn't learn. He didn't grow. He made the same mistakes, and he admitted to Sernaya. He's like, me not listening to you fucked me up. But guess what? I picked somebody who didn't have a quirk, don't have experience. And I know I told you I didn't want to retire because I didn't want to wait for people to keep dying. That's why I didn't give up my power. But then he picked Deku. That doesn't make sense. And the other reason I don't like Deku, I mean, technically I don't have a problem with Deku, but first, I need to say this first. Him crying. I hate that shit. I understand sometimes you gotta cry, but the amount of time Deku cried, I hate characters that cry too much. It gets annoying. Like Sakura, I hate that shit. Like after a while, I start wanting you to die in the show. Like seriously, there's times where I wish like Sakura would die, and that's how I feel about Deku sometimes. And my problem, if you guys sit down and think about it, this stupid. Okay, let me not say that. But he wanted to be a hero, right? But All he did was study, which is not bad. You need to be smart to be a hero. But he never once thought, I knew since birth I don't have a quirk, most likely. He never sat down and thought about, maybe I should work out. Like, yeah, like, that's the only thing I can do to become a hero. Like, he never did that. Like, he never thought about making gadgets, learning how to do that. Like, you know, the people that make gadgets for them in the hero course. He never, like, thought about figuring out how to do that. He never did that. And that's the thing that pissed me off about Deku. Like, he's lazy. Like, if you realistically think about it, he didn't do anything towards his goal to become a hero. Like, All Might situation was just lucky. Like, he didn't know those powers you can transfer. So, that's why I couldn't get with Deku. I couldn't put myself in this situation or All Might situation. And I also think All Might is irresponsible because everybody told him to pick Miro, right? But he gave his power away to some kid he doesn't really know because he did something. Imagine if that kid was related to somebody like, I don't know, Awful One or anybody, and he can be persuaded, he can be convinced to use it for evil. He doesn't know that kid, and he didn't meet the Miro, even though everybody told him Miro is the one you want. He's just like you. He smiles even when he's in danger. Like, he does everything just like you. Maybe the only thing that Miro doesn't have that Deku has is the ability to do stupid shit. Like, he doesn't rush. He's like Sir Night Eye. He likes to think about the situation before rushing in. But everything else, he's a perfect person for All Might. Like, he doesn't have to wait too long for Miro to be ready. Like, even what's his dude name? Deku's teacher. I forgot his name. I'm not gonna waste time. But Deku's teacher literally says Miro is the closest to being number one. Anybody in the top 10 he could pick. Anybody in UA he could have picked. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why would you pick Deku? Like, that contradicts every reason why you didn't want to retire earlier. Because you didn't want people to suffer. But you picked a dude who doesn't have a quirk, who's a freshman, who you had to train from the ground up. Like, his body wasn't ready for the quirk. It doesn't make sense. Imagine if Miro had all for one for all. You can't touch him and he can punish you. My God, that's devastating. Imagine if anybody in Class 1A had all for one. Nobody's touching them. And that's why I can't get behind All Might. Like, him picking Deku, I know people are gonna be like, oh, he rushing to stuff like All Might and save you. That's stupid. Stop bringing up that point. Logically, if you were in the real war where you pick Deku, no, you will not pick Deku. That's like in a scary movie. What takes people out of the movie is the fact that you can't put yourself in that situation. You can't be like, you can't do what they do in the scary movie. So when they do something that breaks you out the movie, you decide you don't want to watch the movie no more. It's stupid because you can't see yourself doing it. So that's why I don't like All Might. And in turn, All Might makes me hate Deku. And then, since I already hate Deku, his personality already pissed me off too because he's always crying. He doesn't listen to anybody. And some people think that's good. But to me, that's stupid. I hate that. I hate characters who just want to do... I understand you're doing a good thing. But, like, let's take the example where he tried to save Bakugo. And he didn't listen to anybody. Like, he went to save him. Now, imagine if he didn't save him and something happened. Like, Like, imagine Bakugo died, which I would hate to show and never watch it. But imagine if he died, and some of the other students that came with Deku died too. Now, who you think Deku would be the one being blamed for it? No, Yue would be getting blamed for it. All Might would be getting blamed for it. Everybody, but that's how stuff works. It's never the person who does something that gets punished. It's the person in charge of you that get punished. So when people, like, when I see people liking characters like that, I'm like, realistically, I can't fuck with you, because if I'm in charge of you, I have to be punished for you. You see what I'm saying? It's like, if you have brothers and sisters, you think they're gonna blame them when you're the oldest? No, they're gonna come to you. So that's how I look at it with All Might and Deku. I'm like, nah, I can't fuck with you because I can't see me picking Deku. Like, there's no reason. Like, all your points is blocked out with Deku. Like, you won't pick Deku. Before it sounds like a fucking rant, I'm gonna just head out. And one more thing. Deku he did not beat overhaul. I want people to know that. Because people are like, Sir Night, his powers is fake. It doesn't work. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe All might survive. No. People forget that Eri was the reason Deku survived. Because technically he was dying. It's just that her ability is to bring you... Is basically your... How do I explain this? It's to bring you back. Like, he couldn't die because she was healing him. And that's what was changing... That's what's changing history. That's why Sir Night couldn't see it, because he technically saw the right thing, that Deku died, but it was just Eri was bringing him back. So I don't want people... And even they had an anime where they were explaining it. I don't even know what dumb shit they said. They were like, his energy or something. No. It was because Eri brought him back like a couple of times. Alright, so that's it. Subscribe and leave a comment if you thought this video was shit, or if you like it, or what you guys can suggest for me to make this video better. And that's it.